Revelstoke Templeton Vane. Hey guys, my name is Anna and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a book review, discussion video, book talk video for this wonderful book by Deanna Raybourn, which is called The Perilous Undertaking, which is book 2 for the Veronica Speedwell series. So just like in the first book review I did for this, which is A Curious Beginning, I'm going to be just talking about some highlights of the book that I really enjoyed and I really loved. This is what it's about. So, it started out with Stoker teaching Veronica defense lessons because instead they were supposed to go on an adventure, but then the owner of the house got sick, so they can't go, and now they're just upset, pent up frustration for not being able to go on that adventure. What happens is Veronica was called by someone, and Lady C asked Veronica to go with her to that place where women are free to talk about anything, to talk about politics and whatever, which are banned for them at that time. So she met a lady with a different name, and then she found out that that was actually her half sister, who is Princess Louise, and she needed her help. She needed Veronica Speedwell's help. Princess Louise told Veronica that her good friend Artemisa, an artist, was murdered, and then the only suspect they found was Miles Ramsforth, who is her teacher in the arts, but they know they have a thing, and she was murdered probably because she was pregnant with Miles' child, and they thought that that's his motive because Miles is a married man to Ottilie Ramsforth, and probably he killed Artemisa because he doesn't want the scandal happening and stuff like that. There are a lot of new characters in this book, and I really like the new characters, and I don't know where these new characters are gonna go in the third book now that the second book is done. And in the third book, I know it's gonna be somewhat set in Egypt. I think they're gonna go to Egypt. It has been hinted before, so that's why I have my list here for the highlights, so I'm just gonna look at them. There's a new lady in the house. Her name is Lady Welly, and I picture her as the old lady in the House Martell for Game of Thrones. This pretty lady who is also a duchess in the Victoria TV series in season 2, and so I picture her as being the Duchess here, as when she's being Lady Welly in the second book. So I picture her as Lady Welly, and like I'm enjoying it so much. There's no one else I could picture out for Lady Welly but her. Since Veronica just first met Lady Welly, and Lady Welly already knows about Stoker, they already met before, and I think she said something, and then Stoker just took Veronica's side in that conversation and was like, oh how sweet. Stoker took her side of the conversation. And then there was also this scene where Stoker was fixing for another taxidermy project. I think it was a deer, and then he was sweating, and so he had to take off his shirt, and then Veronica was hinted that she's almost immune to his shirtless body, and I was like, no, you can't be immune to a shirtless body. That's just so bad if you get immune to a shirtless body. They received a key to a certain place, so they don't know where it's gonna go, but they have ideas where it's gonna go, and then Stoker said it's too dangerous, we shouldn't go. And then he was trying to take the key from Veronica so that she will be forced not to go, but Veronica just slipped it inside between her breasts and into her decolletage. Veronica said, you want it? Come get it. She just slipped it between her breasts, and then Stoker was so willing to get it, like he was about to get it, but he had second thoughts, and then it resulted to him brushing over the tops of her breasts, and it was like, oh my god, yes, that was about to happen, but it didn't happen. So Stoker was frustrated, and Veronica had no choice, but she did held her breath when his skin touched her skin, like, yes. And when they got to the place where the key fits, they saw that it was like a place for orgies and all, where people gather to have orgies. There was an object, I can't really picture it out, like I can't get how it was described. I don't know if it's wood or metal, but Veronica like, what is this? Stoker was like, it's a d. I was like, what is he trying to say? I bet he's trying to say dildo. It was so funny because he said, oh my god, I can't even say it. So he just used a different term. Like he kind of explained it like women use it for this, but men can also use it for this. And like, oh, Veronica's like, okay, and then she just moved on. They went to a house where the art students also sleep, and Artemisa was one of those students. Stoker was chosen to pose as Perseus for one of the students named Emma Talbot. He had to pose naked. So he did that. While he was posting, Veronica was out sleuthing, and luckily Stoker was able to steal a piece of paper from the room of the artist, Emma Talbot. Veronica asked, like, how were you even able to get that when you were supposed to pose naked? And then it was like, those are for me to know and for you to keep guessing. And I was hoping that we'd be able to know how he did that at the end of the book, but it was never told. So this is still haunting me. Stop. Finally get to meet the oldest brother of Stoker, who is now called Lord Templeton Vane. In this book, we finally got to meet all of Stoker's brothers. There is Rip Merriweather and there's Lord Templeton Vane. It's so obvious that he was already married, but then his wife died and he just doesn't want to marry again. But then he finds Veronica very interesting, very beautiful also, and he was flirting with Veronica, and Stoker was like, there, God damn, Stoker, just stake your claim, man. Stake your claim. Why can't you just say that she's not for you, she's mine? Why can't you just, guys, just get on with it? We're already in the second book. Okay? Cressworth even got engaged after the second book. Why can't Stoker and Veronica do something about them? Like, why can't they just make things be permanent? Why make me anxious and angry for not being able to giving us what we want? Diana Rayborn, come on! Since there was this room for the orgies thingy, and then Stoker said that since he was in the Queen's Navy before and he knows about men and men interaction on the in the bed chambers, and then Veronica asked him if you've been able to be with a man, and then he joked that once every day and twice on weekends, and Veronica was like, but actually, he was just kidding, and he never did, and he doesn't care if men and men would like that. He doesn't judge them, which is so great. Stoker, you're so ahead of your time. And Stoker asked Veronica that, have you been with a woman? And she said yes, but it was just only a kiss, because for scientific experiments, for scientific curiosity. And when Veronica finished explaining herself, she said that I have been with her twin brother the night before, so I wondered if they have the same technique. So she tried to make out with the sister in the morning, and like Stoker was gaping, and Veronica had her two fingers under his chin and like lifted it up, close your mouth. Veronica never ceases to surprise everyone, especially Stoker. And then they come to have an argument. I forgot what they were arguing. I think they were arguing about life choices, I'm not sure. But then Veronica was upset that you can't tell me what to do because you're not my husband. That struck a nerve in him. Stoker told her that I'm not your husband because I'm better than a husband. I'm your friend. I was just thinking like, why really? Why are we still in the friend zone? So they went into the embalming room because they were trying to check the body dead, and they heard footsteps arriving, and Veronica just quickly pulled Stoker's arm, and then she got on top of a table, and then Stoker immediately got on top of her, and they were in a very difficult position. When Veronica heard that people who entered the room were just in the farther part, so they wouldn't be able to see them, so she tried to relax and stretched her leg, which was about to create a cramp, and then she noticed Stoker stiffened, so maybe it hit his groin because he grunted. That's how they were discovered, because he made a noise. Veronica was lying with her back, and Stoker was on top of her, and then their faces were so close, which, oh my god, they get to do those things. They're not even together. God damn it. And it turns out that they were being expected at the place. They didn't need to hide. So earlier in the book, Veronica said that she couldn't sleep, so she tried counting in Tagalog backwards, so from 100 to 1. I can't even count beyond 10, and it's my own native language. I'm not even very fluent with Tagalog myself, which is why I use English in these videos. Really, like, isa, dalawa, tatlo, apat, lima, anim, pito, walo, siyam, sampo. I don't know. I can't. Sampo isa? Sampo dalawa? Hindi ko alam. I'm such a disgrace. Oh, she can count in Tagalog. It never occurred to me that she actually went to the Philippines. And so she stated in the book that she was able to capture a giant swallowtail in the Philippines. So here's a picture of a swallowtail. I've never seen it before. So it's probably pretty. So it's here in the Philippines. They probably should look out for them. Giant swallowtail. Part of their investigation was to ask someone they've met before who wasn't very open to them. So they went to a place where that person was comfortable, and they actually went to a club where there are a lot of marijuanas and cocaines, like drugs being, sold there. It's a place where people can freely drugs, but that's not allowed. So in order for them to get the info they need and the person needs to feel relaxed, is they gotta do the drugs too. And Stoker has already done the drugs before. I don't know how often he's done it, or I think he's just done it once. I don't know how he is able to contain himself, but Veronica she got hit. She was just so loose. She couldn't even walk straight, so Stoker had to carry her over his shoulder, since she's also like disguising herself as a manservant for Stoker, like a Chinese manservant. When they got out, Officer Mornaday was already there and said, "This place is raided. I didn't even know you were here." Boom! My god, Mornaday, why Mornaday? And so they were brought into the police station. Before that, on their way out, Veronica she was on Stoker's shoulder, and so her head was facing close to his butt, and then like, "You have such an amazing butt." So she reached out to grab one of his butt cheeks. Oh my god, Veronica is just so bold. She's already so bold when she's not high, and when she is high, okay. It was said that she reached between his legs. I can't. Is she reaching for his thing? Veronica. And then she was brought to the police station into Sir Hugo's office. She woke up and then she was like, "What happened? Where are we? Why is my arm in pain?" Stoker said, "I had to inject you with cocaine to balance out so you could wake up because you were sleeping far longer than we liked, so it was kind of dangerous." When they got home, she was already high, and Stoker brought her to her bed. He said that you need to sleep it off, and then Stoker already hit myself, like I'm about to get high too. When Stoker turned to leave, Veronica just grabbed his hand and pulled him back, and then they were so close, and then they kissed and then they made out, and then I was like, yes, finally, this happening, thank you Lord. But Stoker just had to call the name of his ex-wife. He was like breathing out, "Caroline." Who the heck is Caroline? The Veronica just stopped. Luckily she fell into unconsciousness, so she doesn't have to face that awkward situation. But that, yeah, okay, alright, okay. Huh. Who is Caroline? Caroline woman. Stupid girl. Why would you leave someone next to her? Why would you leave someone next to her? I was so upset just when they had something going on, just when they finally had their first kiss, just when they finally made out, and then that happened, and then even when they've already been divorced or broken up or whatever, even when she's already an ex-wife, she still gets to ruin some stuff. Damn it. Now back to the investigation. I knew from the very moment that Princess Louise talked to Veronica when she said that Miles Ramsford wasn't gonna give an alibi. I knew it was her. I knew he was with the princess. I believe there was nothing between them, though other people think there is, but there was nothing between them. I already knew who the killer was. This person was my #1 suspect in the first place. You are the one that killed this person. Murderer was Miles Ramsford's wife, Ottilie Ramsford. Obviously, because hello, who would accept it? But she said that she couldn't give birth to any children because her mom was also having a hard time giving birth. Then when they checked out to a doctor, and it was very official that she really could not ever give birth to a child, and so she accepted Miles for going on and sleeping with other women. And like, I don't think that's true. I don't think what she's saying is genuine. I don't think her feelings to what she's saying is genuine. But she said that it's fine with her because she's very devoted to him and she loved him so much. Even if I believe her to be able to tolerate his husband to sleeping with other women, when Artemisa was pregnant with her husband's child, I think that really drew the line for everything. So I knew that she was gonna be someone who orchestrated the murder, even though she has some other people. When she told them that I was so upset, she wanted her husband to be imprisoned because she was getting upset already, and it was like killing two birds with one stone. So giving her a murder and to frame him for the murder because there made no other suspects. So that happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm right. I'm so smart. But I won't be a detective. I doubt I'll be a good detective. And at the end, where Hugo, let's do a fake, very sad and very fake accent for British, because I'm bored. Okay. Mr. Hugo talked to Veronica, and he said that, I don't know, is this Australian or is this British? I can't really tell. When Sir Hugo talked to Veronica, also with Lady Welly's help, when Lady Welly admitted that she was the person behind the strings, or like the puppet master for Sir Hugo said that I was touched that when Sir Hugo said that Veronica doesn't really want to meet the prince, but she kind of just wants to be accepted and all. But the line, I'm sorry. Why is this a word? I'm supposed to be so easy. I'm sorry if you're hearing like pigs in the background. they're feeding the pigs or cleaning them, I'm not sure. Anyway, so when Sir Hugo said to Veronica that the Prince Albert really was thinking of Veronica too. So Veronica killed Ottilie Ramsworth, so she's supposed to be imprisoned for her murder, though it was for self-defense. But they had created fake evidences to protect her and everyone around her, Emma Talbot and Stoker. That was really a touching scene and I almost cried. That is how book 2 went. It wasn't clear in the end on where they were gonna go, unlike the end of book 1 where they were said that there would be more adventures for them since they're gonna be working together. But in the end of book 2 there was nothing really said and nothing really clear. So since we can't read these books as standalones, which is why there's not a lot of hints. When we get to third book, we are gonna be talking about Egypt. I don't know if they're going to Egypt, but I'm really hoping there'll be more adventures for Stoker and Veronica. I really hope that this series will be longer because I really don't want to let go of these handsome Englishmen and I don't want to start over by looking for another historical mystery based on the Victorian era. 8 or more books, I won't mind. And that is my review. I'm giving this 5 stars, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down, but I highly recommend you. That is all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.